Hello YouTube, I'm going to show you today how to refurbish a 72 pin connector, and we're going to clean up this Nintendo a little bit, get it in working order. The tools you'll need: Phillips head screwdriver. I prefer the magnetized ones. It helps pull out the screws when you get them loose. This one doesn't look like it would be. They usually have a different colored tip on them, but this will pull out the screws. It is magnetized. Also, dental pick. This will help you get in there and bend back the pins a lot better than a safety pin will. You can use a safety pin. I prefer dental picks. I got a set of these of 12 different ones on Amazon for I think $12.99, and I'll put a link in the description for that. We are going to be removing the pin connector, boiling it, and then bending back the pins and putting everything back together. First, I'm going to fill up a pot with about 1/3 of water, and I'm going to put that on high and get that started to boil. I'm pretty quick at this now, so I can start the pan boiling while I work on the Nintendo. Some of you guys doing this for the first time might want to take the Nintendo apart first and then start your pan boiling. Okay, first we're going to take off the first 6 screws that hold the shell together. So take your Nintendo, flip it over, and I do apologize, I'm doing all this with an iPhone. You're going to remove 6 screws. They are located here, here, in the center, here, and here, and on the other side, there and up there. Okay, I've got the screws out, and we're going to flip this guy back over, and we're going to gently remove the shell. You can see inside there is a heat shield, and we'll have to take that off next. And it has 7 screws, I believe. We've got one here, one there. It's 2 on the back here, here, and here. And 3 on this side, there, and there. Okay, we have those 7 screws out, and now we can just simply remove the heat shield there. And we are left with the cartridge tray right here, and that has 6 screws, 3 on each side. And one thing I forgot to mention is all these screws are the same size, except this screw here and this screw right here. Those are going to be slightly longer. They go through the cartridge tray, through the pin connector, and into the circuit board, and I believe into a plastic piece under that. So those 2 are longer. You will need to keep them separate in a different pile. And let's take this thing off. Okay, now we have those 6 screws off. You can start to wiggle the tray out this way by bending up the circuit board. What I prefer to do, so I don't mess anything up, there's 2 more screws. One back here and one right back in there. And if you remove those, it'll allow you to lift up the whole circuit board and remove it without having to bend it up and wiggle this cartridge tray around. Okay guys, the other 2 screws are removed, and this is a perfect example why I use the magnetic screwdrivers. You can see down there, it came out when I was removing it, and I can just touch it and get it back out without having to wiggle stuff around. So I'm going to try to do this one-handed because I'm filming this again with my iPhone. I'm going to lift this up, and we're going to get this tray here. We'll wiggle this guy out. There we go. Kind of weird with one hand. And put that aside for a second. And you are left with the circuit board and this guy. This is the 72 pin connector right here. You're going to lift up the board, and I will need 2 hands for this. You're actually going to have to pull it. There's a heat shield underneath to pull away from that. Pull it off, and it's actually on there pretty tight. So I will be having to do that off camera, and I will get back to you in a second. That is a 72 pin connector. And now we're going to walk over here to the pot of boiling water. Just drop it in. We're going to let that boil for about 10 to 15 minutes. Hey, buddy. Okay, we are ready to pull it out. Grab yourself a pair of tongs. Grab that guy there. Shake as much water off it as you can and put it on some paper towels to dry. Even the metal's going to be absolutely hot. Plastic's not so bad. And of course, dump the water there. And we're going to let this dry. You want it to go in completely dry. So again, I'd let it have about 15, 20 minutes. You can blow on it if you want, or try to shake the moisturizer out, but I really want these things dry when I put them back in. You don't want any moisture to be inside your Nintendo. Alright, so leave that for about another 15, 20 minutes.